I began my supply chain experience at Mount Royal University when I decided to venture into the supply chain program. From my second work term working with Bell, whom was a major sponsor for the Games, I had first learned about the organizing committee. For exactly 1 year, from June 2009 till May 2010, I was fortunate enough to work for the Vancouver Organizing Committee for the 2010 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games, also known to many as VANOC. VANOC was made up of 5 divisions, 52 functions, 1,600 employees, and over 50,000 volunteers. It took 7 years from start to finish, from the bid committee for the Games, and they had to win, plan all the events, work the plans, and execute the Games, to the final dissolution of the company, 7 years, all for one festival, 2 world-class sport competitions, 27 days of sport, and 60 days of celebration. I was a member of the logistics function, which was comprised of 3 internal departments. First, venue logistics, responsible for managing venue load-ins and load-outs, and the setup of operations of the competition and non-competition venues. Second was logistic operations, whom operated the Vancouver warehouse, the main distribution center, and managed custom brokering and freight forwarding activities, and all of the traffic and distribution from the warehouse to and from all of the venues. Finally, material planning and integration. This group managed material planning requirements for all of the venues, creating and maintaining the catalog of all the items, and finally, managing inventory and assets and the disposal of these assets post-Games. As inventory control coordinator, I was a member of the later group, material planning, responsible for managing, as Linda alluded to, $80 million of furniture, fixture, and equipment to stage the 2010 Games. I trained, mentored, and supported over 50 logistics staff regarding inventory procedures at 40 venues prior to the Games, during venue load-in and load-out, and commencing the Games. I executed inventory counts utilizing physical and cycle counts across the venues and the main distribution center throughout Vancouver and Whistler, while maintaining information in the logistics management system, which was also used for disposal planning activities. So the best way to describe it is if you were to pick up a venue and turn it upside down and shake it. Mostly everything that would fall out, we were responsible for managing. This included sport and field of play equipment, cabinets and other furniture, tables and chairs, stationery, electronics, and even Olympic torches. Some items have included 800,000 SKUs, 500 pallet jacks, 44 kilometers of folding chairs, 8 kilometers of folding tables, 25,000 feet of stanchions, 12,000 trash cans, and 9 kilometers of barricades, just to name a few. At the peak of operations, the logistics function was comprised of 650 staff, 150 full-time, and 500 temporary. Venue load-in and load-out schedules were extremely tight and were created according to when venues were either completed construction or when we obtained possession and when they needed to be handed back and turned around. Canada Hockey Place was handed over 4 days before competition and given back merely 2 days after the Games commenced to continue the NHL season. The logistics department was on blackout from mid-December until the start of the Games. Don't think about going anywhere for vacation. Since our rules were critical before and after competition, our group was lucky, and we got to enjoy most of the Games and the sporting events. During the Games, I had worked 1 week in Vancouver and 1 week in Whistler, from the start of the Olympics to the end of the Paralympics. I was responsible for managing the logistics service desk at either the media centers or Athletes Village in Vancouver or Whistler. I was also fortunate enough to have an all-access accreditation. Since I was responsible for managing the assets at the venues, I was able to see almost every sport at some point through the competition. I know it was critical to make sure that Canada Hockey Plays had enough hockey pucks for the tournament. There was lots of work to be done, and there was always opportunities to help at other venues or fun team activities to participate in. There were numerous times when extra help was required to load in a venue and get them set up, so it was all hands on deck, some more glamorous than others. Helping to load in and set up rooms at the Whistler Athletes Village, or setting up racking and spaces at the Uniform and Accreditation Center. We had the opportunity to try our hands at sledge hockey, and I'll say it's much harder to play than what it seems. We were able to have evenings skating at the Olympic Oval with the Vancouver mascots and attended many medal and victory ceremonies during the games. There were numerous cultural Olympiad events to attend as well and take place. The best of all was working with so many great people from all over the world, many of whom are referred to as gamers, traveling the globe, working other organizing committees or other large sporting events. After all was said and done, and the games were winding down, the biggest challenge for my team was disposing of everything. After 7 years of planning, we had merely 4 months to get rid of it all before the company was dissolved. The sales of assets was an important component for revenue for the organization. And by the end, there wasn't as many people to do all the work. I was one of the last 50 people employed out of 1,600 left to do the job. Our asset disposal plan had 4 elements: returning loaned equipment and buyback programs to vendors, legacy items, the venues themselves, and all of the materials and equipment that were required to run these venues, pre-sales of items, and donation programs. The pre-sales were fairly successful, but we realized it wasn't going to be enough to move all of the items that we had. VANOC had approached the province of BC to purchase the remaining items. The province of BC had set up a sales floor right in the warehouse where the public could come and purchase their very own part of the Olympics. Naturally, TVs, laptops, desktops, cell phones, all the electronic fancy equipment were the most popular items. The first day of the sale, the public lined up at 3 a.m. My post-games role had transitioned into disposal activities, assisting with asset recovery phases by creating critical asset recovery lists from the venues, return delivery templates and plans while overseeing warehouse reconciliation procedures. Transitioning through the dissolution activities, I was accurately tracking asset transfers of pre-sale orders, legacy donation items, and all other remaining assets, finally invoicing the province of BC for over $45 million of used equipment. The organizing committee's mission was to touch the souls of a nation and inspire the world by creating and delivering an extraordinary Olympic and Paralympic experience with lasting legacies. Organizers value team, trust, excellence, sustainability, and creativity, and envisioned a stronger Canada whose spirit is raised by the passion for sport, culture, and sustainability. I believe Vancouver 2010 were truly Canada's games and delivered lasting legacies. Having the opportunity to work for VANOC and my experiences will always hold a special place in my heart and continue to do so today throughout the rest of my supply chain career.